Hi there. In this video, I want to show you how you can structure your sidebar and what system you can use to file your notes and to organize your folders. So I recommend to use the system Para. There are many other systems which you can also use, of course, but in this video I will show you how Para works. So Para means projects, areas, resources, and archive. And I've already created those folders here in the sidebar, and I've prefixed a number because the folders are sorted by title in NotePlan. So projects always stays at the top and then followed by areas and so on. So this is, first of all, this is a basic scaffolding for your note taking. So you don't need to create new folders all the time. And it's sorted by actionability. So the notes which are at the top in projects are most actionable. You will be working mostly with those notes and less so with areas, resource, and archive. And the purpose of Para is to produce some kind of output, like a product. In my case, this is NotePlan, new versions of NotePlan, or this video, or a blog post, or maybe it could be some goal which you have for sales, an article, a book, anything. So once we have set up the basic folders, the question is what goes where. And in the projects folder, as the name says, go all your current projects. For example, this project or mini project is recording a video of how to set up your folders. This could be a project. For me, projects are usually new versions of NotePlan, but I also have my roadmap here and my current trips or the redesign of the creatives, search ads, and so on. These are things I'm working on right now. And I'm referring back to these notes all the time, opening them every day and adding new information or processing action points and so on. So these are projects. In areas, these are things which have no specific start and end date, but are more like long-term responsibilities. For example, my business is a long-term responsibilities. Also relationships, your employment if you're employed, or something you care about in general in your life. It could be also health, it could be any hobbies you have. And in my case is, for example, company, growth, freelancers. So in company, I add notes which are relevant for the company formation, taxes, and all these things. In growth, I have a folder where I'm adding all the notes and ideas I have about growing the business. And for example, in freelance, I'm adding notes and referring to hiring freelancers, managing them, and so on. So these are areas. And in the resources folder, you can collect notes on topics you are generally interested in, but you don't need them right now in any of your areas of your life or in your projects. You just have interested in this topic, for example, psychology, or any book notes you take, or topics like freemium or other business topics in my case. Let's take an example. It's expectation. So I took a couple of notes on this topic, like expectations are powerful, self-fulfilling prophecies. And I found them, I also tagged them with tags in this case, like books, the expectation effect, luck factor, and so on. And I took a couple of bullet points on this topic. You see I have a lot of notes in this folder. They're not sorted by any topic, but you can sort them by topics. I connect those notes to each other, so I can basically go through the back links or forward links and navigate this way through the topics, but you can set them also up with folders. And in archive, you can put any projects which are finished or cancelled, or any material which you don't need anymore, but you might want to refer to it at some point. For example, you made a presentation about something and you want to reuse this note as a template for the next presentation. So in this case, archive comes useful. Okay, but how do you know where to add things and how to add them? Basically, you put the notes where you want to find them later. So for example, let's say the topic growth. So I have a folder in areas about growth, and I'm working already on growth, but this topic has many subtopics. So it could be about the creatives, for example. So I've already collected a lot of notes about creatives, means like screenshots I found in other apps, designs, and so on. And I've added them here in this folder because I wanted to find them later here whenever I start working on the creatives, so I can easily find them later. You basically just throw them in a folder which refers to this topics. In the best case, before you start a project, you have already collected a couple of notes which will help you to get started with this project, like what I did with the creatives when I've collected them before I started working on the creatives. So this is how you know where to put new notes. And how do we find them later? So there are many ways to find them. So one is to just look into the folders. If you know you have a folder creatives, you of course can open this folder and check your notes in there. You can also use quick search. This is Command J, what I've done here with freemium, for example. I've collected already a couple of notes. And a tip here is to use very long and descriptive names for notes, like freemium model with paid sync and so on. But then there is more surface area to find those notes through this quick search. And another type of search is of course the full text search, but this is something I would use as the last option. So at the top you can click on search and then search for something inside a note. You can use also hashtags. I use hashtags for my book notes. You can also access your hashtags through Command J, and you hit the pound sign and then books, for example, and you see the books, my book notes, and for example Atomic Habits, and I see all the notes about Atomic Habits. So how to get started? So first of all, you create those folders if you don't have them, the basic scaffolding, and you can add already your project notes here, so everything you're working on right now. Also, I recommend to add the areas folders so you know where to put those notes later, like your employment, your business, relationships, health, these kind of things. So whenever you research something, you can put the notes in there. Create the resources folder if you already know a couple of topics you're interested in and you keep collecting things about it. You can also create the subfolders here. And finally, the archive folder. If you have already a lot of notes from other apps, for example, I would put all of them in archive and don't start to reshuffle and sort your folders, because this will take a lot of time, but you can put them all in archive so you can refer to them if you need through search. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was useful.